On Friday, I sat down with Taiwan's representative to the U.S., Bi-khim Hsiao, for the CBS Evening News. Here's more of our interview. President Biden indicated the military wasn't enthusiastic about Speaker Pelosi visiting. She spoke openly about the risk of her plane being shot down. Did Taiwan ever have that level of concern that there was a risk here?
We have been living under the threat from China for decades. And we cannot let their ongoing threats define our desire to make friends internationally. If you have a kid being bullied at school, you don't say you don't go to school. You try to find a way to deal with the bully. And that's exactly what Taiwan is doing, working on making our society stronger and more resilient, fortifying our defenses so that we have means of managing risks. The risks are not posed by Taiwan, nor are they posed by the United States. The risks are posed by Beijing.
What specifically is that risk? Is it a full-scale invasion?
Well, the Chinese have not renounced the use of force. They have been intensifying threats towards Taiwan. That is not only on a military level, it has involved a hybrid toolkit of public disinformation, cyber attacks, economic coercion. They have a broad toolkit that we have become more and more accustomed to. But again, that is not going to change our determination to defend our freedom.
But what's happening right now is unprecedented. Beijing has sent 68 warplanes, 13 warships right off your coast. Do you believe that this is just a drill?
Well, indeed, China's behavior is unprecedented, and from the scope and the actions, it appears that they have been preparing for this for some time, way before Speaker Pelosi decided to visit Taiwan.
China is seemingly showing that it can blockade Taiwan, that it can cut you off from the rest of the world. What is the cost of doing something like that?
Well, China has been building up their military capacities rapidly over recent years. And what they are doing through these exercises has the potential of jeopardizing some of the most important air and sea commercial routes. I believe they will also jeopardize China's interest in a stable environment under which trade and commerce can function. Such risky and dangerous behavior has implications for the world.
Do you have any assurances from the Biden White House that they would defend you? Not just sell you weapons, as presidents have for the past 40 years, but actually come to your defense?
We have a very strong security partnership that ensures the protection of our shared interests in the regional peace and stability.
Do you believe the timeline for an invasion is moving up? The criticism of what Speaker Pelosi did by visiting is that she is provoking China.
Well, I think the word provocation has only one place, and that's with China right now. They are the ones that are provoking regional instability.
So you do not think that this was a mistake and that this visit has backfired?
Well, the visit has been welcomed by the Taiwanese people. Sometimes it's hard for other countries from afar to fully understand the feelings and perspectives of the Taiwanese people. And that is, for too long, we have been bullied, isolated, and suppressed, and banned from international organizations. So when friends come from afar and wish to lend their support to Taiwan, we generally take that with gratitude.
When you talk to Biden administration officials, they will say, Xi Jinping, the president of China, is taking notes. He is watching what Vladimir Putin is doing right now in Ukraine as a test case to see what he can get away with in Taiwan. What lesson do you think he's learning right now?
I think we are all learning lessons, and the Taiwanese people are also learning lessons, and we are learning that we have to be better prepared. We have to be stronger in our own self-defenses. We have to work hard to galvanize international support in working to deter that tragic scenario from ever happening.
Are you concerned that the West won't stand by Taiwan the way it has stood by Ukraine. China is financially so powerful, it would be hard for the West to cut it off.
Well, I think that was one of the messages that Speaker Pelosi was trying to convey. And that is, despite all challenges, we have friends in the international community who will stand with us.
And lastly, China has also flexed its diplomatic muscles. It cut off a number of agreements, it says, with the United States because of this visit, including collaboration on climate change. Are you concerned that the West will look at this and say, it's not worth it? Not just on climate change, but on other priorities that outrank Taiwan.
Well, are we concerned? Yes, we are concerned about the disruption of these very important discussions on global issues that are matters of interest to not only the United States, but to China and everyone in the world. But the fact is, again, congressional visits to Taiwan have been ongoing for decades. And for decades, it hasn't prevented the United States and China from having constructive discussions on matters of mutual interest. And I agree with some of the U.S. White House and other statements and the analyses that the Beijing government is currently trying to manufacture a crisis over a practice that has been ongoing for decades. And they are using this as a pretext. And I think we have to make that clear. If China is to evolve as a responsible stakeholder in the global community, it's really up to Beijing to decide if their rejuvenation, if China's rejuvenation will evolve with international respect or with international condemnation.
Our full conversation is on our website and YouTube channel. We'll be back in a moment.